We like to think we're in control of our lives, but the truth of the matter is, if you aren't ruthlessly guarding what you let into your mind, your environment, and your body, you aren't making your own choices. You're just a byproduct of your programming. Today, I'm breaking down the 5 foundations of a self respect in life and why it all starts with the one thing most of us are afraid of. Let's do this. I literally only a couple of days ago recorded a podcast with the second time she came on the show, Regina Meredith. You might know her. She's like the face of Gaia TV almost, and she's a beautiful human being. But we got into this conversation as well around what's going on the planet at the moment. You know, you've got this conversation of disclosure that's happening. Is it going to be alien contact? Then you've got this conversation about AI potentially taking over the world or taking over our jobs. And then you got these conversations. This is all in the spiritual lane, of course. Then you got these conversations around these next few years are going to, make or break us. The earth is splitting into two. Are they going to go this way? Are we going to go this way? And the one thing I really feel about with all these conversations, and don't get me wrong, I'm as curious as the next person. I have a podcast. I have conversations about close to 450 different conversations on this show now over the years and everything. But the one thing, all of that is outside of ourselves. It's all, for me, it's noise and distraction. And yes, I'm open. Yes, I'm curious. And yes, I explore. But I don't let it take away from the very things that I want to implement in my day and in my life. And we came up with we were basically coining a phrase about world-class basics. That's what it is for me. I worked in the fitness industry for a long time. And you'd have people coming in and they want the most complex training programs. And yes, you would service and tailor everything for the individual depending on their needs, their injuries, their health, and all the rest of it. But ultimately, it's how you showed up and did the basics. That's what it was. What you do every day. Like you've heard me say on the podcast before, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And that's what it's about. So I love distilling it down to world-class basics. For me, I'm a simple guy, keeping it simple. So here's the 5 things. Let's go. The number 1, really important, so important, create space. There you go. Create space in your life. What does that mean? I remember somebody mentioning to me once that when you look at music and the way a song is composed, or beautiful symphony or a piano, if it wasn't for the space between the notes, then you wouldn't have the composition of music. I thought, wow. I contemplated on that for a long time. And I look at our life like that. If it's not for the space between the doing, it's just a blur. And it's in the space that we connect to presence and actually evolve source. There's a term in neuroscience called metacognition. Metacognition simply means being the observer. But how the hell do we become the observer if we don't create the space to observe? Look at all the distractions in our lives, constantly. And look at how many times can you catch yourself throwing away these off-the-cuff comments. I'm too busy. There's never enough time. I've got so much to do. Like, I wonder how much of the things that you're doing in your life right now is actually keeping you busy and keeping you distracted from the essence of the truth of who you really are and at the heart of who you are. And we resist that. It doesn't take long if you sit down with someone and started unpacking these things that you could start to look at what serves you, what don't. What can I let go of and what can bring me closer to my truths? These are the things that I look at. So within that creating space, there's a few non-negotiables that have helped me with that. Obviously, meditation. I've just got some notes over here if you're wondering why I'm looking. Meditation. For me, it's a non-negotiable. It's an opportunity to create space. You know, I've got 2 young children, and with our family and my wife, Linda, we do different things. So I get up early in the morning and I connect. I take the time to create that space of an allowance to observe and to really feel into the knowingness of the heart, not just the chatter of the brain that tends to go on and the logical life we live. Yes, of course, other ways to create space is by different breathing practices and breathwork and coming back. But sometimes they can be a distraction from just being and observing and allowing. Gratitude is a huge one for me. Actually allowing the body to fill into those moments of gratitude, especially when it's the last thing we feel like doing. All these things I feel start to work with the nervous system, and that's one of the biggest problems I see in society. And what I've witnessed now with thousands of people is dysregulated nervous systems. And a dysregulated nervous system is what's controlling the systems of the body, the autonomic nervous system. And if that's out, our body is screaming for our attention, right? And we don't create space. How often do when you feel pain come up in the body, feel different emotions want to present themselves, that we just keep ourselves distracted, and then we impose the story on the external world without allowing the space to really feel and drop in. So these are golden. Create silence in your day. Oh my gosh, actually have silence with no inputs. Can you take yourself outside in your back garden, in nature, anywhere, and just be? And notice what your body starts to do. Does it start clambering and itching and clawing your attention, and the mind is going? The more you keep yourself distracted, the more this pressure will build, I promise you. So creating space is, for me, a world-class basic, and I'm very conscious of doing that. Of course, we can reflect, we can journal, we can see what's there coming out of the heart. Nature's a great one, but have a look at it. So one of the questions, what I write down here, yes, so here's a question to ponder on, and you can write this down. Where in my day do I actually hear myself? Sit with that. All right, let's go on to 2. Number 2, world-class basic. Guard your inputs. What's coming in from all directions? What does that look like for me? So there's non-negotiables for me. I remember, I don't know if I mentioned this on a solo podcast or interview or somewhere. I went to a wealth seminar in New Zealand when I was living in Australia. I did a visa jump. I was probably, this must be going back 20 years ago or whatever. And I thought, I had a few hours. So I went to this 3-hour wealth seminar. And I got to speak to the guy after, and I said, what's the first thing I can do to help me generate wealth? And this is wealth in all areas, not just financial wealth, right? And he said, turn your TV around, face the wall. Now, this is before the internet really kicked in. And I was like, wow, that's an interesting answer. So I actually did that. So when I got back to Australia, we had this beaten up old TV. I was living in a house share, and I turned the TV around and it faced the wall. And I don't think I looked at TV for years. And it was one of the greatest blessings I did, like getting away from, commercials and the news and all this input that's just brainwashing us at some level. It's just going in. And when you pull away from that for a while, when it comes on, it's pretty toxic. Like you really feel it. Like it's like, inputs. Then there's obviously the relationships you keep. Who are you spending time with? Do people aspire you and lift you up and see the best in you, or are people putting you down and trying to keep you pegged in so it makes them feel better about themselves, so then you don't become a threat by just honoring your heart and soul? So quite often we leave our boundaries overlap. We don't know how to say no. We people please. There's all these things that start to happen, and for me, inputs have a lot to do with that. So obviously social media is a clear one. I'm very guarded about how I do social media. Obviously, I'm on it on YouTube, but it doesn't mean I sit there doom scrolling all the time, every day. And I'm very conscious about that. And I'm very conscious about when I'm actually just using it as a distraction, when I know I need to be leaning and feeling into what is there for me in these moments. Obviously, news, TV, entertainment. Do I enjoy a good Netflix movie? Of course. But I don't use them to just escape something that's trying to get my attention, because I'm to numb the body. It's the same with alcohol and things like that. So the books I read the podcasts I listen to. Obviously, if you listen to my podcast, I'm sure you listen to many other spiritual podcasts, and they're all positive inputs. I did mention on a podcast before that we've got to be mindful when learning actually becomes a distraction from the sense of being and listening to what creating space does. but inputs are critical. The conversations I keep, over the years I've made my life, and I protect that with my life. The environment I spend my time in, I'm very conscious of how I've set up my house, how I've set up a space of resonance. I use biogeometry, with the Australian, New Zealand distributors of biogeometry, which is using the resonance shape. We use that in the home. You can see the cube, look, just above my thumb. See that? That's which I clear twice a day, and it creates a harmonic resonance. It helps harmonize the Wi-Fi emission as well. And I've just partnered with FLFE, which is a fantastic way, especially when you're out and about as well, or in your home, where you're creating. Oh, let me just turn my phone on silent. I can't believe I didn't do that. Creating a space where you are bringing in harmonizing energy. You can have it. We use it at our events, where it can clear the energetic space as well. And it's phenomenal, because then as you tune into the subtleties of energy more and more, it becomes more and more important. So these things I pride myself on, and they've made an impact on me, right? I look for all the 1%ers, all the things that collectively are going to support the alignment of me, my body, my heart, my soul, as I move forward through life. So they are things. So have a look, make a list of your inputs, What's the question I wrote down there? Yeah, very simple question to break it back down. I did this exercise years ago. Is this feeding my life, or is it draining it? How's that? Simple. Feeding, draining. See what's there. Start honoring it, right? Next one. What have I got? Care for the vessel, the body, the temple. Of course, your body is a vehicle through which you experience life. And, I'm over 50 now, and I care deeply about my body. It just becomes a way of being. I don't really think about it too much. I just kind of do the basics well. And I'll list some of them for you, which I got, because ultimately I want to enjoy my life from a space of health. And it's fantastic. I've met many people my age that are struggling with their health. And I'm like, that's not for me. And, when we're leaning into the work of spirituality as well, because spirituality is, for me, absolutely the essence of everything that we do, because we bring it into all aspects of our lives, and health is no different. So here's a few of my non-negotiables that I think might help you as well, about how I care for the vessels. So the big one I got at the top is sleep. Sleep is massive. Sleep is where all your restoration goes on, all your hormone regulation goes on, your repair, and getting quality sleep. And if you don't have quality sleep, not that I want to open up a can of worms today around these conversations, there might be underlying driving factors that need to be worked from healing from the energetic space of trauma. And it could be lifestyle factors, choices that you're all then making. There's a weave, like I'm married to a naturopath. And if you go back a few episodes, we did a great podcast together, myself and my wife, which I'm pointing here because hopefully the boys will edit in that little clip, with my wife, Linda Gripperich. And, we unpack a few of these things, but sleep is massive for me. I prioritize it. I go to bed early, but I get up really early, and I feel every hour before midnight, they say, is worth, more on the other end, which I totally believe. So when I get good sleep, I function really well. Nutrition is a big one. I've had my DNA tested. That's another. I partnered with the DNA Way, the DNA company. I'll put a link in there if you want to find that out. That was very supportive and helpful for me. So you can start tailoring. You're not just, this guy on this internet said this supplement, and I'm just going to do this thing because everyone else and it's in vogue at the moment, without looking at any core drivers of what's going on with yourself. Like, come on, how's that? You might as well just pee it up against the wall, truly. So these things are really helpful. So you can do DNA testing. I've done my longevity, my test, the Dunedin Pace score, where how much my body is aging compared to my biological age to my chronological age. And I find these things just fascinating. I enjoy that. That's what I'm into. If you're not, I get it. But they're helpful. You know, you get that data, you get that input, and then you can apply accordingly. Gut health is massive, of course. You know, when caring for the vessel, my wife is a gut specialist, so I'm fortunate. I've certainly learned a lot from being with her. But, you know, it was something I was looking at before I met my wife. You know, brain, heart, gut connection, vagus nerve connecting through all three. These are things that are worth exploring along with that energetic trauma work, because I feel it all goes hand in hand. They all support each other. Movement is massive. Moving the body constantly, you know, it can change your state. It can be phenomenal. And that's one of my go-to. Weight training is massive. Weight train. I'm an advocate for weight training for everyone. I don't care whether you're a man, woman, your age. Get in the gym, lift some weights, develop some muscle mass. There's so many benefits. You know, helping regulate blood sugar levels, you know, insulin sensitivity, increasing that muscle mass, strengthening. You know, the amount of elderly people you see that would fall and have a break, and it would just destroy their life because our bodies just deteriorate if we don't use them, right? Oh, what else I got here? This is quite a list, isn't it? Hydration, water, world-class basics, quality filtered water, remineralize it, okay? It's whatever you do, remineralize it. Check out my podcast with Vader Austin if you want a deep dive in water. That will blow you. I keep pointing. Hopefully they're going to appear right now. That will blow your mind. Sunlight. Get some sunlight. Get out there. Take your shirt off. Whatever it is, get some sunlight. If you're not getting sunlight, if you used to live in Wales like me, take some vitamin D. Test your vitamin D levels. Get some blood done. You know, Hormesis, using stress to heal stress, massive. You can, you know, stress gets a bad rap, but you can do it too. Perfect examples are cold exposure, jumping in a cold lake or an ice bath for a minute. It's like shock the body, let the body naturally warm up. Have a sauna, get it hot, let the body naturally cool down. These are all fantastic ways of creating stress and adaptation on a cellular level. You can look at fasting, explore fasting. But if you get into fasting, make sure you have a look at your underlying conditions. If you've got chronic conditions as well, investigate, take a look at these things. They're perfect examples of using stress to heal stress, which I do on a regular basis. I have an ice bath and a sauna just out there, and I use them and I feel fantastic for them. So here's a question for you on this one. Am I treating my body like a burden or a gift? Because it is. The moment your health is taken away, you realize what a gift it is. Like, be proactive. Use it. Okay? All right, next one. Number 4. How's this going, by the way? Let me know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, what's resonating right now. And by the way, I want to make this clear. This is not medical advice in any way. This is what's helped me. Okay? And if it resonates, explore them and take a look. If it doesn't, throw them away. It's fine. It's all good. For me, number 4, I've got to live your values. Values is massive. And when I've looked at DeMartini's work if you want to go down the values rabbit hole, but values were really big for me. And when I got clear on my core values, which was love, freedom, and health, right? Then I could start to get clear on making decisions in my life. Is this aligned with my values, or this is not aligned with my values? Well, that's not aligned with my values. I'm just going to let it go. This is more aligned in my values. I'll never forget when I started doing these value exercises a long time ago, and I was working back in London as a plumber, and I was getting so upset because I'd be on a job and the job would blow out and I'd have to work till 7 o'clock at night, and I wasn't, I'd struggle with time to prepare my food properly because I was really conscious of wanting to eat well, and then I missed the gym. And this was happening on a regular basis, and it was really making me unhappy. And then I did the values exercise, and I was like, that's why. Oh, duh. It's because health is one of my core values, and I'm clearly spending a lot of my time not aligned with those values. Does that make sense? So as I did that, and become more aligned with my values, my life became more joyous, right? So then from there, it's allowed me to go forward. So I've got some bullet points here again. So non-negotiables around this kind of thing is integrity. Integrity is key. I do everything with integrity and bring in my heart self version into it as well, because without what's the point? If we're not coming from the right space, we're creating a friction within ourselves as we go through life. And that's something that I honor and I see, and first and foremost, integrity for oneself is key. Keeping promises to yourself. So all these things start to add up. How many times have you said to someone, I'll see you at 3:00, and then you're late? Or you're not honoring the words that you speak. How many off-the-cuff comments? Well, I'll be there now in a minute, or, I'm getting lost for words here, but there's so many things, you get what I'm saying, right? There's so many things that we just throw away in these moments, and then it's without integrity, it's without true meaning, and we really don't honor our word as well. 4 Agreements, I should do a podcast on that. It's a classic book if you ever read it. And if you haven't, read it, right? Courageous conversations, living your values. Does it need to say any more? Lean into the uncomfortable stuff, right? Be of service, support, however you look at, but I found through contribution has been massive. Living my values, presence with family. I've got like being present, spending time. I've just noticed with my kids, I can go out and buy them shit and do these things, but what they really want is my time and my presence. That's what they want and love, and so do other people. Like, how often are you in a conversation with people, but you're not in a conversation, you just wait until you want to blurt out what you want to say, right? And or truly listen, or if they're just blabbering on, actually knock them into, well, what's at the heart of that here? Start having a rich conversation, right? Living from the heart, choosing love over fear, doing a difficult thing when you know it's right. All these things are in alignment with my values, and that's the work. For me, this is where the rubber meets the road. It's not what you do in the retreat and look at the mystical experience or whatever, the performance that comes out of it. It's how you take all that and embody it on this daily basis in the moments, right? So here's the question. I like this one. Does the way I live actually reflect what I say I believe? Let's say that one more time. Does the way I live actually reflect what I say I believe? Okay? So you might be saying this, but Bruce Lipton said once, you want to look at your beliefs? What are they? Look at your life. Anyway, stuff to ponder on there. Number 5, last pill I got here is stay open. Oh my gosh, growth ends the moment you think you've arrived. I'll say that again. Growth ends the moment you think you've arrived. Now, I've met multiple people that have said to me, I've done the work, I'm pretty spiritual, I don't need to go into this and that. And it's through observation, not judgment, it becomes quickly evident that that's just another protective mechanism from the mind that's keeping them from actually going deeper into what it is wanting to be revealed. It's pretty wild, right? When you think about it for a moment, when they stay open, I've got 2 lists and I'm just trying to find something that caught my eye earlier, but I can't, is that with the ego and the mind, this is funny because I was on a call just before this, and you look at creation, you look at the universe, you look at like there's something going on that's so freaking amazing, right? You've got, I don't know, source energy. It's given rise to consciousness, which has given rise to, planets and universe and cosmos and human beings from conception to birth to watching them grow and create and change and becoming these humans. Like when you actually stop and look at all this, it is nuts. It is mind-blowing. That is life. Look at nature and the harmonious way it behaves and works, and it just does its thing, and there's constant life flowing through all the time. And yet we grow up and we form these logical minds, and we're like, I'm just gonna fucking put you in the back seat. Get over there. I've got this under control. Don't worry about that. I know what I'm doing. And the whole mind and the ego that's so limited takes the seat. And yet we think we're better than that. Like, really? Come on. Like, if we just step out of the way and allow that openness to be and connect to something that is just beyond any conception that our mind could ever conceive, and start to honor that and flow with that and come from that space, like, life looks very different. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to just having a certificate. Well, I don't have one on the wall, but if we did, and think, hey, I'm the man here. Like, really? Okay, so here's things that I lean into. Beginner's mind. I always turn up the beginner's mind. Every podcast, every conversation, people are saying, I just try and be open. Beginner's mind. Humility. Be open. How can I explore and do this like I'm doing it for the first time? Okay? Curiosity. Curiosity is definitely one of my superpowers. Be curious. Stop thinking you know it all. I'm not saying you, but hey. Continuous learning. I tend to go in sprints with learning. I go, I'm ready, and then I'll submerge myself in it, and that becomes my narrowed focus. I try not to have 12 books on the go. I've been guilty of that, don't get me wrong, because I'm just hungry. But there has to be integration with the continuous learning. I question my beliefs, constantly questioning, exploring, right? I listen into intuition. Of course, that's open. Can we lean into that? Can we have the courage to listen to this insight that comes up from that space of the heart, which I spoke about in my last solo podcast? I follow synchronicity. Say, start to see it, follow it, let's go. What's that about? Obviously, trying new things is a big one. We get set in our ways so much. Just, obviously, there's a difference between, I know that's just not me, to, oh no, I'll stay open, I'll explore that. That sounds interesting. Yeah, they are things that come through for me. What have I got? And here's the question. Ready? What is life trying to teach me right now? I used to have this conversation. My old mentor, Chris, shout out to Chris. How are you going, buddy? I don't know if you listen to my podcast now. Anyway, years ago, and he would always say, Guy, what is consciousness trying to show you right now? So as things come up, things are coming back to me. Instead of just getting triggered and throwing it in, I'd use it as a reflection. What is life trying to teach me right now? Anyway, they are the 5 things. God, this podcast has gone longer than I expected. Hopefully you found this helpful. And let me know if it resonates. Are there things you could work on? Are there things that you do? Are there other things that you enjoy doing but also support? I've kind of gone off the cuff as I like to, but at the same time, they are things that have helped me become the person I am, or become the person I'm becoming. Because we're always becoming someone as it moves on as well. And I just want to mention, I have mentioned it, I think we're about 90% sure we're coming to the USA for a weekend. let me know in the comments. Just write USA if you're in the US and you can come. You want to invest in yourself, come and join us for a weekend, myself and Matt Omo. And I'll be catching up with San Ching. So that was Masa. I've had him on the podcast. Check it out. Anyway, that's all happening. And of course, if you're in Australia, New Zealand, we're coming around as well. We literally just did our first 2-night soul reset weekend. So that was actually an intimate container. We limited it to 12 people. And people have done our work. And it was mind-blowing. It was incredible. Yeah, because we wanted to get basically people in a room together that have done our work, and then we can just hit the ground running and just go. And that was, wow, exceeded my expectations. And my expectations were pretty high. So yeah, phenomenal. So if you were there, sending out some love to you guys and girls. Anyway, links below if you want to find out more. Drop us a line. Much love from me, and I'll catch you soon. I'm standing here right now in Lake Taupo in a beautiful retreat space. And there's a vast difference between an intellectual experience and passive listening to a fully embodied lived experience. Because that's what retreats can do. They can help you land, start to truly reconnect to yourself, to others, to nature, and to spirit as well. There's so much in it. That's why we created Live in Flow, and that's why we are so passionate about getting this work out there and bringing people together. If you want to find out more when our next retreat or event is coming up, just check out the link below.